Hi, estudiantes. Okay, so um, at the risk of we're not supposed to really introduce new material on a digital day, I was ready to move on Tuesday. So we're going to go ahead and do some notes on the irregular preterite. Now, the irregular preterite is basically preterite, which is past tense, not present. Um, and the irregular preterite is verbs that don't do the normal iste, io, imos, istes, ieron thing. Okay, so remember aste, o, amos, astes, aron, and iste, io, imos, istes, ieron? Yeah, these don't do that. Okay. So, but it's kind of like a combination of AR verbs and ER verbs because some of the endings are similar to AR verbs. One thing about irregular preterite verbs is that none of the verbs have accent marks, written accent marks. So the good news is I don't have to figure out how to remind you on your Chromebooks to do the written accent marks because none of these verbs have that. So here are the notes on irregular preterite. Okay. Uh, the verb dar is D for the yo. Let's see. I like to do it always in this order. D stay. Remember, dar is to give. So in the past, it sounds like gave. So this is I gave, you gave, he gave. Um, you don't necessarily need the vosotros, but I like to include it. Ver is to see, and those forms are V and viste and vio and vimos and vistes and vieron. Okay, notice that dar and ver look exactly the same except for the D and the V. Okay. Now ver is exactly the same as it would normally be as an IR or as an ER verb anyway, just there's no accent marks. And dar is a little bit irregular because notice it's an AR verb, but I like you to see dar and ver together because it's basically the same. Ir and ser we actually learned last semester. Remember this one was fui, fuiste, fue, fuimos, uh, fuisteis, you don't need to know that one, and fueron. Ser, again, is also fui, fuiste, fue, fuimos, and fueron. Oh, wait, fuimos, fuisteis, fueron. And remember that ir means to go, so those all sound like went, and ser means to be, so those all sound like was or were. Okay. All right, hacer is to make or do. That would be hice, hiciste. So this is new stuff. The L form changes from C to Z to keep the k or the s sound. Otherwise, it would sound like eco, and we don't want it to sound like that. Hicimos, hicistes, and hicieron. All right, so that's hacer. So that's I made, you made, he or she made, and it's pronounced hice, hiciste, hizo, hicimos, hicistes, hicieron. You will be eventually having a test that involves memorizing these and reciting them to me. But I'll tell you about that when we get back. And you'll have plenty of time to do that, but you will have to kind of recite ise, hiciste, hizo, hicimos, hicistes, hicieron, and you'll need to be able to tell me what that verb hacer means. And hopefully also how it sounds in the past, because sometimes things don't sound the same as the present as they do in the past. For instance, you don't say I goed to the store, you say I went to the store. So you'll need to know what it sounds like in the past. Tener, to have, is tuve, tuviste, tuvo, tuvimos, tuvistes, and tuvieron. On the test, you'll only have to do everything except for the vosotros. You will not need to know the vosotros. So tuve, tuviste, tuvo, tuvimos, tuvistes, tuvieron is tener, which means to have. In the past, it sounds like had. Saber is supe, supiste, supo, supimos, Supistes. And supieron. Poner is to put or place. Puse, pusiste, puso, pusimos, pusistes, and pusieron. That's to put or place. So that's saying I put or I placed something. Poder is to be able to. That one sounds similar. It's pude, pudiste, pudo, pudimos, pudistes, and pudieron. Um, Now notice that poder has a D in the infinitive and a D in all the forms. Poner changes N to S, and I like to say that the one that has the D keeps the D, and the other one, it at least is a short letter and another short letter. D is a tall letter. All right, estar is to be, estuve, estuviste, estuvo, estuvimos, estuvisteis, and estuvieron. So I was, you were, he was, etc. Notice that a lot of these, once you get to hacer, they're iste, o, imos, istes, ieron. So it's really, you just have to memorize the set of irregular preterite endings, and then you have to memorize the stem, like is, or tuve, or soup, or poos, or pood, or a stuve, and then it's just kind of, you match the ending with the stem, or the stem with the ending. All right. Querer, quise, to want, although in the past it actually is more like tried. Quisiste, quiso, quisimos, quisistes, and quisieron. Venir is vine, viniste, vino, vinimos, vinisteis, and vinieron. Traer, to bring, in the past is brought, is traje, trajiste, trajo, trajimos, trajistes, and trajeron. Notice that the ones that have the stem that ends in J, on the Aos, it loses the I. So instead of it being I-E-R-O-N, it's just E-R-O-N. And decir is dije, dijiste, dijo, dijimos, dijistes, and dijeron. Conducir is to drive. Um, I'm gonna pause this video for a second. Double check that one. I haven't taught conducir in a while. Okay, conducir is basically the same as all the rest of them. It's whoops. Conduje, condujiste, condujo, and these are going to have a hard time fitting. Sorry about that. Condujimos, condujistes, and condujeron. Traducir, to translate, is traduje, tradujiste, tradujo, tradujimos, traduhistes, and tradujeron. So those are the forms of the irregular preterite. These are what will be on the irregular preterite memorization test, and they will also be used for the Socrative Digital Day assignment. So I would suggest putting the notes on one half of your screen and the assignment on the other half of your screen so that you can kind of just refer back to the notes. All right, and that's pretty much all we needed. I will be providing you a blank piece of paper with where you can fill in the notes when we return, as well as the filled in copy. I want you to have at least written it down. I feel like your brain processes if you have to write it, but then I want to make sure that you have the correctly spelled version to study. So I was debating which version to give you, the filled in ones where you wouldn't really pay attention to it, or the blank ones where if the spelling is not right, you're going to get them wrong. And I decided, you know what, let's do both because I feel like your brain processes better if you write it. But at the same time, I don't want you studying stuff that's incorrect. So I'm going to give you the make sure that you've got it spelled right version as well. All right. Thank you very much for listening. Enjoy your digital day, guys.